I just want to show you guys step by step how you would literally go into your document and include a footnote. So the main thing to know is that you're going to go to Insert and then click on Footnote, right? So that is the way that you add a footnote wherever you're using an outside source, okay? So what you want to do is you want to put your cursor in the place where you need that superscript, right? And again, the superscript is just the small number that corresponds with the footnote that you're putting at the bottom of the page. Okay, so like if you use a direct quote and you know, like, okay, if this were MLA, I'd be putting a parenthetical citation here. This is where I'm going to put the footnote. Okay, so I put my cursor right there. And then again, I go to Insert, Footnote, and depending on the program, it will either create a superscript number here and then a superscript number at the bottom, or in some programs, it'll just create a superscript number here and then you have to manually type in the number that corresponds with it. So like if it put a 1 here, at the bottom you would write, you would type 1 and then write in your citation. But most programs will automatically create the superscript here and then a corresponding one at the bottom. Okay, so the superscript will appear with the appropriate number, right? So if this is my second outside source, as soon as I put Insert Footnote, it will automatically be a 2, right? When I put in my next footnote, it'll automatically be a 3. Okay, so it automatically does that in order. And then you just do that for each one, right? You put the cursor where you want your superscript, insert footnote. And then, so what it'll do, so in my program, I have like my first footnote, I have a superscript here, and then it just created that same number right here. And then I can just go down and write out my citation for each of these. Okay, so some things to note: the date. So I included all this information here, right? So that is different than MLA. I include the whole citation at the bottom of the page. The date is written in standard format. The date has commas on either side. I used the publication date of this source rather than an access date. And I put the date right after the name of the publication, right? So I have last name, first name. This is the name of the short story. This is the program that was on. And then right after that, I have the date of publication, or the date that it was aired. And then I have the website and no access date at the end. All right, another thing you'll note is that I used this source again on the same page, so I just said see note 2 above. I don't have to write it out again. And then the last thing, so yeah, again, I mentioned that I used the same source, so I wrote see note 2 above. And then here, the only difference is, so this is a print publication. So I put the location and the name of the publisher in parentheses here, which you wouldn't do in MLA format, okay? And one nice thing about having to write out the whole citation when you're doing your footnotes is that then you can just copy and paste it onto your bibliography, right? So you have the full citations ready and then you just copy and paste them into your bibliography and make sure that it's in alphabetical order. Okay, so those are the steps to follow.